Hello! So, when I was trying to think of what I wanted to film for today's video, I wasn't really sure. But, for the past probably 2 days now, my entire mind has just been Taylor Swift and her new album. Because, my God, is it incredible! So, I thought for today's video, I just want to dump my thoughts out of my brain, put it into a video, and talk about it with you guys because I fucking love it. So anyways, on Thursday of last week, or this week, whatever you want to say, Taylor Swift announced a surprise album called Folklore that was dropping. And let me tell you, when I woke up and I saw that on Twitter, my mind did not know what to comprehend, what to think. Taylor Swift does not do this. Taylor Swift is very strategic, planned. She always has something lined up, you know? It's never just like, so when I read that, I was like, this is gonna be fucking good, and I just knew it! So my mind that day was incredible. There was thoughts going through my head. What is this gonna be? How is this gonna sound? And I had no expectations. And me, that night, she announced the album was coming out, and then she announced the lead single was Cardigan, and she was releasing a video with it. And so my ass hopped in my car late that night when the album dropped, and I was gonna do a reaction to Cardigan. And what happened next was a sad, sad story. I filmed the reaction, and I loved it. I loved the song, but my reaction was very different than my normal reactions. I didn't freak out and have a huge panic attack and get excited and yell. I was so intrigued and interested, and I was like, what is happening right now? Like, my brain could not comprehend that this was Taylor Swift happening in my mind. My mind went somewhere else, and the reaction was great. I loved it. But there was no fucking audio, so it was just a silent video. It sounded like psh the whole time of just me sitting here. I hated it. But anyways, I need to take a moment to talk about this, so let's get into it. Today's video, we are going to talk about theories and conspiracies about the album, because one thing I love about Taylor Swift albums is there's always some hidden messages, Easter eggs within like the rollout, hints, the drops, but this time they're all fucking in the album, and the internet is blowing up, and it's all I can read, it's all I can see about. My entire TikTok page is conspiracies and theories about this album. My entire Twitter is that, and so I want to talk about my favorite ones, okay? So let's get started. So first, I want to say this album is probably her best work ever. It is so good. I can't even handle my life. It's so cohesive. It's so incredible. The lyrics, the album, just the whole concept. I love it. And I love the fact that it was a surprise album and she just dropped it all together. Because in my mind, when I first heard Cardigan, my thought was, there is no way she could have gotten away with doing a normal ass rollout with this album, because people would have just ripped her apart. They would have said Cardigan was boring. They would have been like, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, what? This is not the Taylor Swift I love, blah, blah, blah. And the fact that she dropped it as a whole, you need to listen to it as a whole album. You can't just listen to it as a single and then another single and then the album. It just has to be the whole album. You know what I'm saying? So I think she was so smart, because I feel like Cardigan itself wouldn't have got the recognition it deserves, and that it is a full body of work that has to be appreciated altogether. So that's what I have to say to begin with. Love that. But now there's so many conspiracies and thoughts about this album that I just have to talk about them. The first theory that popped into my mind when I was listening to the album that night when it dropped was around Betty. The song Betty, when you first listen to it, it sounds like she's talking about a girl, which she is, but you think that it's her personal experience. Like, it's like about a couple in high school, someone fucks up somehow, and it's the person singing to Betty trying to win her back. So in my mind, I thought, does Taylor Swift dabble in the women? Like, is that what I'm getting at? Is that what I'm hearing? I think that's what I'm hearing. So in my mind, I thought, okay, when Taylor Swift was in high school, she was with a girl, and this is that story, and she's telling us. But apparently, it's not, which brings me to this conspiracy. Lots of people like to believe straight up that she is just into women and that was the thing. But here's the conspiracy around this. Apparently, Betty, the song, is from a dude's perspective, and there's 2 other songs that create a whole love triangle between Betty, the dude singing the song, which is apparently James, and the other woman that they sing about. So let me get into this one. So basically, this theory is like the teenage love triangle of the 3 songs, and the 3 songs that are apparently connected are Betty, Cardigan, and August. Taylor kind of confirmed this herself and said there is a series of 3 songs on the album that are connected, and they make like a little love triangle, but that's our job to figure out. So I think we got it figured out. The internet's fucking smart. So apparently Cardigan, the song, the original that she said is the lead single, the one that I personally listened to first, because I personally think when someone releases a lead single off an album, that's the song they want us to hear first. So that was the first one I listened to. Apparently Cardigan is Betty's point of view of the whole situation. August is possibly Inez's point of view, the one she sings in Betty about you can't trust a word that Inez says. And then apparently Betty is James' point of view, which is the guy, allegedly, who fucked over Betty. Okay, are you following me? Are you following? Okay. So Cardigan, the song, is like Betty being hurt and disappointed about what happened, and then the song Betty itself is James being like, hey, I fucked up. I want to try to fix this. What's going on? And then August is Inez, whatever the fuck, her point of view. Now, the other interesting thing about this love triangle is in Betty, those three people that are mentioned, apparently people think she's using Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' children's names, which are James and Inez. And this is why people think it's still about her and she's still into girls, because James and Inez are Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' children, but they are also both girls. So those two names work with males and females, so people think she's referring to herself as James. Does that make sense? I don't know. And this is where this also comes in. The name Betty, people are thinking, because she already used the two kids' names of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, that she's revealing that the third child's name is Betty. Now, I don't know how much I believe that one, because James and Inez, and then you go to Betty. I don't know. Like, maybe? But, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna be, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know what you think. So that's the first conspiracy that I'm wrapped up in and I'm trying to figure out for the life of me. Can't do it, but I'm gonna try. The next one that I've been reading about is that the last Great American Dynasty and Betty are connected. Because, so, listen to this. The last Great American Dynasty is about, basically about, like, the history behind the people who owned her house now that she owns in Rhode Island. It's, like, the story of the two people that lived there before. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The woman that owned her Rhode Island house before her name was Rebecca Harkness. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I'm saying that right. Guess what her nickname is? Her nickname is Betty! So people think those two are connected in some way, and also think that maybe Betty has nothing to do with anything else in her life, but really it's a story she heard about the people that previously owned her house. What do you think? So I'm not sure how, but for some reason, people think those two have some sort of connection. Does that make sense? And now also another theory that because this album is so dark and like almost a little bit sad, even though Taylor herself said that these are stories that are based off her life, things that have like sparked her creativity that don't have anything to do with her, and then she's like using music to tell other people's stories, hence the name folklore. But for some reason, because this album is like kind of dark, kind of sad, people think her and Joe Alwyn, her boyfriend, possibly fiance, another theory, you can look that up, that they broke up. But I do not believe that. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. I just can't see it. They're so secretive and so private. I don't think if they broke up, she would air their shit like that because of just how they are. I don't think they broke up. Then no way. No way. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. Also, another theory, this one also involves Joe. I think there's 3 songs on the album. If I'm wrong, leave it in the comments. Let me know. But there's this secret writer on the songs named William Bowery. Now, in her Instagram post, when she tagged everyone who helped her work on the album, mentioned everyone who worked on the album, William Bowery was mentioned, but he was not tagged. Why was he not tagged? Does he not exist? Or does he exist as someone else? This is where Joe comes in. People think Joe helped co-write some of these songs, and his pseudonym for being a songwriter is William Bowery. And if that's the case, they definitely did not break up. They're still together and he's helping to write music, which is incredible. Now, this is the specific tweet I need to reference because this is what kind of sparked this whole theory and like why I believe it. Listen to this. This is from TayLowKey13 on Twitter. Shout out to you. You're a genius. William Bowery theory. On October 2016, Taylor with her like friend squad and Alwyn were spotted in Bowery Hotel. William Bowery, Bowery Hotel. Something special must have happened there. And that's why she used the name Bowery. Possibly. And then William Alwyn is literally Joe's great grandpa, and he was a composer / conductor and a music teacher. They had a special moment at the Bowery Hotel, and they're using his grandfather's name because he was involved in the music industry. William Bowery is Joe Alwyn. Tell me that person's wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me we're all wrong. Joe helped co-write songs, period. Point blank. You can't tell me that's wrong. Also, I saw this other one. I don't know why, but people think that she's wearing Joe's jacket in like that picture of the back album cover. Don't know why that was a theory, but like, I guess it is. And now this is my favorite one. This is a thread on Reddit, and I absolutely love this thread. So I'm just going to read this word for word. As you can tell, I've been quite deep in these theories, but anyways, I'm just going to read this whole thing. Shout out to this Reddit thread. I don't know who wrote it, but here it is. This was posted in the folklore discussion thread, and it became a post. So this person says, basically, I interpreted the album as a folk story about the history behind the last owner of her Rhode Island house. So they basically think the whole album is based off of the previous owners of her home, and they believe it's told in 3 separate parts. Okay, they've included the songs they think are broken up into and yada yada yada. Okay, so the first part is the affair. So August is basically the beginning of the affair, and they reference these lyrics: whispers of "Are you sure? Never have I ever before. You weren't mine to lose." The next song in the affair section is Mirror Ball, describing details of things they did. I'll show you every version of yourself tonight. Hush when no one is around, my dear. You'll find one on my tallest tiptoe. And then the next one is Betty. Return of the school year, it's senior year for them, and James finds out Betty knows about the affair and tries to apologize. Lyrics, about why you switched your homeroom, but I think it's because of me. The worst thing that I ever did was what I did to you. If I told you it was a summer thing, I'm only 17, I don't know anything. Cardigan, Betty's reaction to the affair, and she does not take it well. Chase 2 girls, lose 1. When you are young, they assume you know nothing, so like he's thinking she knows nothing about the affair. Peter losing Wendy, I knew you, leaving like a father. And the next one, illicit affair, which is the mistress recounting the affair from her side of the story. So like the mistress in that whole triangle telling her side. Make sure nobody sees you leave. What started in beautiful rooms ends with meetings in parking lots, so you leave no trace behind. And then exile is also part of this affair section, which is Betty and James singing to one another as Betty officially ends their relationship. I love this part. I don't know why. I'm not your problem anymore. We always walked a very thin line. I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending, which is probably my favorite lyric in that whole song. And then the one is the last part of this section, which is Betty has told herself she's over James and is trying to move on. If you ever bleed, you're never gonna grow, and it's all right now. It would have been you, but it would have been fun if you would have been the one. You know the greatest loves of all time are over now. Okay, now we're done with the affair and we're on to James's arc. I don't know what they're saying here. This is me trying. So this is James has been desperately trying to make things right with Betty, but it's not working. At this point, it seems they've graduated high school. I've been having a hard time adjusting. I have a lot of regrets about that. I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. And now peace is another part of James's section. James realizes that the only way for both of him and Betty to find peace is to leave town, so he joins the army. Keep in mind, if this story aligns with Taylor's life, we can assume that the story of Betty and James took place in the early mid-1900s. And then the last 3 in this is Epiphany, which is James dying in a battle. Keep your helmet, keep your life, son. Just a flesh wound. Here's your rifle. With you I serve, with you I fall down. Just one single glimpse to relief to make some sense of what you've seen. And then My Tears Ricochet, which is James's funeral, allegedly. And then Hoax. Betty goes crazy after not being able to process James's death. This has broken me down, my twisted night. Stood on the cliffside screaming, give me a reason, my kingdom come undone. And now the final section is the aftermath of everything that just went down. Mad woman, Betty leaves town and moves to Rhode Island. What a shame she went mad. Every time you call me crazy, I get more crazy, which is context for her moving to Rhode Island comes from the last great American dynasty. And then 7, Taylor Swift is born in Pennsylvania and experiences her childhood. I was high in the sky with Pennsylvania under me, sweet tea in the summer, passed down like folk songs, which is basically saying this whole album is a folk story about the history of her Rhode Island house. Invisible String. Taylor is talking about her adult life and her relationship with Joe Alwyn, also a reference to how she and Betty / James are all unknowingly connected. I refuse to not believe this. This has to be real. Okay, let me keep going. The lyrics you reference for Invisible String is, I used to think I would meet somebody there. All along there was some invisible string tying you to me. And now comes the last great American dynasty. Betty has now passed, and Taylor buys the Rhode Island home that Betty lived in. Rebecca, which her nickname is Betty, gave up on Rhode Island, set forever. There goes the most shameless woman this town has ever seen. She had a marvelous time running everything. 50 years is a long time, free of women with madness, their men and bad habits, and then it was bought by me. And then the last section of this thread is Rebecca Harkness, the lady who actually owned the Rhode Island house before Taylor, went by Betty, as I mentioned earlier. So the idea of Betty being Rebecca and owning the house prior to Taylor lines up. So that is the whole conspiracy tunnel that I have dove into the past few days, and I don't know what to think, honestly. Like, honestly, I want to believe it all. That last one that I read you, that Reddit thread, is probably my favorite theory of all, that it's all connected to this house, because that house just sounds so fucking interesting to me and I want to know more. Another thing I saw on Twitter is that apparently that house has some really creepy things that have happened, like a dead body washed up on the shore. Like, I don't know, it's kind of creepy, but like, look into it, it's weird. But anyway, that's been my mind for the past few days, and I've just been reading these conspiracies non-stop. So I want to know what you guys think, so leave a comment below and tell me any theories that you've heard or any theories that you believe, don't believe. If you've debunked them or anything, let me know. I really want to talk about it a lot. My friend Leah is super into Taylor Swift. She's like a huge Taylor Swift fan, and we went on like a little road trip yesterday to go shopping in the city, and we listened to the album and talked about it for a long ass fucking time, so that was great. But I want to know what you guys think and what you guys have heard, because I know there's more theories out there. Her album's always got some kind of theory, always got some kind of backstory, and I am here for it. So tell me all of it. This album is seriously so fucking good. I have been listening to it non-stop. It's not an album though that you can just hop in your car and jam to on like a nice summer day. It's like you have to be in the mood for it. And so for the most part, I've been listening to it when I'm in bed at night. It just like calms me down, and like something about these songs just like brings my mind to like wherever the hell she is singing about. It's so weird. Like I said in that video that had no fucking audio, when I was listening to Cardigan for the first time, I said it like I felt like I was transported to like some weird forest. It was so weird. I don't think I've ever felt like that when listening to a song, how it felt like I was reading a book, book, and you like, you know, when you read a book, you kind of visualize what's going on in the book. That's what happened with that song, and it was so weird because I feel like that's never happened to me before. And then when I watched the Cardigan video, she was in that forest that was like looked very similar to what my mind made up while I was listening to the song. I don't know, let me know if you felt like that, but it was cool. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of the album, any theories or conspiracies around the whole thing, let me know, and leave a comment below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. You can follow all my social media linked down below, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and yeah, go stream fucking Folklore. Holy shit, this is such a good album. I haven't felt this hype for a Taylor Swift album since 1989. Like back when she'd announced that she was moving to pop, I feel like that was just a big fucking moment and everyone was just losing their mind about it, and this reminded me of that. So I kind of love this whole thing that just popped off, and I love that she released it as like a whole instead of single by single and then the album. I just think that was the smartest thing, and I think she's gonna win all the fucking Grammys, and I can't wait. So that's it for today's video, guys. I'll be spending the rest of my day looking at conspiracies because I have a problem. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye.